Hello. Hope everyone's doing well on this beautiful day or beautiful evening, beautiful noontime, wherever you may be at when you're watching this video. I have come up here. I want to do a video on detoxification while on our weight loss journey. Like I have said in some of my previous videos and shorts, that this is also a spiritual journey, as well as not just about releasing unwanted weight that's being withheld within ourselves, but it's also a spiritual journey as well, because we're also releasing trauma, anxiety, depression, um, what's it, um, addictions. That's what I was looking for, addictions. And that's a main one as well, addictions, because once again we're addicted to food. We have been accustomed to think it's okay to eat 3 times a day when we should really only be eating 1 time a day, one good meal, and then the rest are like small increments, like, if you want to have some grapes for a snack, but it should be only one meal a day, and that meal should be in the basically doing between, it's really 12, but between 10 and 12 is a good time to have your heaviest meal, because it gives your body time throughout the day to digest what you have eaten. And these are things that I had learned years ago and tried it and then put it to the wayside because I didn't think it was working. But that goes back to what I said earlier in one of my videos. It's because I was not aware of how your body can hold on to emotions that have been stored because you have put them into the back of your mind, and your body stores them. It's like a computer. It stores, it doesn't get rid of it because you haven't actually looked at it, haven't sorted it out, and now it's done. It has been deleted, if you want to put it in computer sense. Which even with that, it's still putting the trash in the bot, and the computer is still storing it. But once you go through it and then I guess you go ahead on and send it through, and it's no longer there because you have worked it out, and it's no longer stored in your body. So hopefully you can see me okay, and it's not too dark. But as long as you're getting the message, that's the main thing. And this is also going to help us as well. I have come to realize that throughout this weight loss journey that if you're not already patient, if you are, well, then all it does is it just helps to make your patience stronger, and you're able to be more patient and more tolerant. But yeah, this weight loss journey, it helps you to become patient. It also helps with attention span. So again, this video may not be short. It probably be more than 15 minutes. But the reason of our attention span becoming shorter is because of the electronics that we are engaging in. And once again, it's not even the electronics, it's basically how we have been programmed to be that way. So the things that we watch, because it's being created by someone that wants to control us anyway. If they didn't have any control over us, we wouldn't be buying when they want us to buy. We wouldn't be eating when they want us to eat. And that, and they can put that in there, that's what we're supposed to be doing, when in actuality, when we go back to primitive times, they weren't eating that many times a day. they were busy. They were always doing things because there wasn't anything occupying them. They were out in the field, create what we call gardening, or they're hunting for their food, or they're making their clothes. We can see this as a luxury, but at the same token, it takes away from our motor skills. It takes away from us using our mind, being creative. It takes away from us being closer with God, and takes away from us having self-knowledge of self, which just kind of goes back to the last video I did, which was self-touch. If I check that video out, I may put the link down below, or I may do a short. That is what I will do. I'll have a short for this. If no one sees this video first, I have a short and connect the video for the full video on that. And that's incorrect, but either way, yeah, I just may put the link down below, and I'll put that in my notes right now. Because that's a good one to also watch. So today I'll be talking about detoxification, detoxifying the body while on our weight loss journey, and different time, a time schedule for us to eat, and a time schedule for where there is no eating, letting the body digest what it has eaten, and also to heal in that process. Because when we're eating 2, 3, 4 times a day, it doesn't give the body any time to digest the food, because you do not put something else in your body will have you digest it digested the first batch of food you've eaten, and then at the same token, it doesn't give the body time to heal or to rest as we do, so that's another thing to think about as well. So yeah, I was just saying that, but so now I've got my notes here, and I just kind of went over the first one. When we eat more than once a day, we are overloading the digestive system. And I kind of just went over that because, that kind of put in perspective for me, like I was just going over, that it does do that. And this is how disease in the body begins, because leftover food decays and ferments inside, which causes mold, fungus, viruses, and other things to grow in the colon. This is also how we develop parasites in our intestines. Examples like tapeworms. And I don't know if you're not following me on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram, because I have different things that I post up there as well, and a lot being my story. And then I have things that that I have on my page that I post as well, and my reels. But yeah, I have a lot actually on my page on the weight loss journey. I have a lot of my stories that are in there that will kind of get information about the parasites, and letting you know whether you have parasites in your body or not. So but yeah, think about when, and that kind of causes diarrhea in a sense, but yeah, in that sense, yeah, if you're not doing any weight loss or not trying to detoxify your body, and it's just coming out runny, yes. And also when you're detoxifying, you'll also see, because then your body, like I said, when you start eating once a day, you'll start seeing how your body starts releasing old stuff, and this is we should all be adults here, and even if you're, or I should say mature mind, because even a child can have a mature mind. or a young adult can have a mature mind. Even when you go to see doctors and things like that, they're going to tell you this because it's what needs to be known. But when you're detoxifying and you go to defecate, and if it comes out also like you're peeing from where you usually have your bowel movement, that's letting you know right there that that was fluid or water that was built up in your intestines that's not coming out because it was wherever it was at in your intestines, it wasn't coming out. And once again, there was water there. And think about water that you see that's in a creek or a river, and when it becomes stagnant, when it's not moving, it kind of doesn't smell good, and things start growing in there, like algae. Well, same thing. That's the same thing within your body. And that's something to think about too, is that when you do get parasites in your body, we're not eating worms. So where are they coming from? It's coming from what's in your intestines that's been sitting there for 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months, or 2 or 3 years. And see, what that is talking about meat mostly, because meat, it takes, I'll get into that right there because I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but meat takes a long time to digest because, for one thing, it doesn't have any, it's not water, so there's no water in that period. That's actually dry, especially when you're cooking it. You're cooking out the juices that's in it anyway, but that's less water. That's on the far end where it's hardly any water in that. So you have to look at that for a second. It's like a sponge inside your body, so it's pulling the juices because it has to digest it. So it's pulling up all the juices out of your body just to digest it, and it's pushing through. And if you're not chewing it, if you're just wolfing it down to that, because I've also learned from a Buddhist, he was saying that when we chew our food, it should be just like how baby food is. But nobody's gonna sit there and chew that till it's basically mush in your mouth. Nobody does it, which well, once again, when you're doing veg stuff like that, but still at the same token, if you can start even chopping it up, into smaller pieces, so when you do chew, you don't have that much chewing to do. But that's something to think about as well, to cut your food into smaller pieces. But yeah, it was saying to the point where it's kind of like applesauce. Applesauce isn't mushy because it still got some chunks in it, like that, or like oatmeal. But yeah, it shouldn't be when you kind of swallow and you got to try and swallow it, drink something. That's another thing too. It was saying that we should drink after we eat or before we eat, not while we're eating. So let's really do like, about 1 or 2 baby sips, something, to kind of, if your throat's kind of dry. But other than that, we shouldn't be, because it messes up our digestive system. And also, I've also learned too that when you eat slow and not wolf your food down, after 20 minutes, your mind already says it's full. So after 20 minutes have passed, your mind says I'm full, regardless of whether, I don't know if you've noticed that, if you've been eating or something, someone may call you while you're eating, and then you don't talk on the phone for 15 minutes, like, I'm full, I'm not even hungry no more, because now your body said I'm full. So that's another thing to think about. Eat slower and you'll get full. And see, I've also learned that our stomach is the size of our fist. So if we're eating our food like we should be, that's what saliva comes into our mouth for, to kind of soften it into to where it's digestible, and breaking it down where it goes into our stomach. But it's the size of our fist. So when we're eating all this food and we're so full, in fact we tired because now we've stretched our stomach. But when we're on this weight loss journey, we're doing as we should be, our stomach will be able to shrink back. We put our stomach and intestines through a lot with the food that we eat and try to digest. So yeah, these unhealthy dead foods, because anything that doesn't, well, for instance, we know that that is true, because any kind of meat you eat is dead. It's not alive. So that does make sense when it says the unhealthy dead foods stick to our intestinal walls as waste over years. I was just saying that. Uh, and enter our bloodstream, being transported to each cell of our body. And I was saying in one of my other videos that waste is also another word for toxins. When we sweat out, we're sweating out waste. Our body, our skin is defecating. It's sweating out what the cells, basically, because our cells defecate. It's, taking in stuff, and it's putting out the toxins, and it's going to our bloodstream if our body is not as healthy as it should be. And that's what causes disease, not disease. If we hyphenate that, dis-ease in the body, our body's not at ease. And then it comes to the skin, the sweating. You know how we can sweat, and if it's nice and it's coming out watery. What I mean by watery is when you sweat and when the air dries it, you don't feel sticky, you don't feel icky, you don't feel disgusted or feel like you're dirty. That means a lot of toxins come out. I mean, it lets you know how toxic your body is. But if you can sweat and it's just water, so then when it dries or when the sun hits, then your sweat dries up. You still feel refreshing and good. That lets you know out there that your cells are just now. It's basically you're cooling off at the same token, but it's not also releasing a lot of toxins at the same token. So that's another thing as well, because sweating is another way of detoxifying the body. And so yeah. So yeah, if you're experiencing that, it lets you know, because especially if you're sticky, it's like you're sweating out sweets, you're sweating out sugar that's in your body that you have too much of. So that's something to think about as well. If you sweat and you feel sticky once the sweat dries. Let me do that here. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of talk about the food that we're eating and how long it takes to digest through the body. Um, and excuse me if I feel like I'm rushing through and things like that, but um, I know the more I do the videos, the more comfortable I will be doing them and things like that. So forgive me if I seem rushed, or if I, and also when I get excited or if I'm really into what I'm talking about, I may start talking fast, because all of my videos that I post, I always look at them again before I post it, just to see. And I actually be engaged in my own conversation that I have on these videos. So um, I'm grateful for that. What I'm saying is engaging. It's not like, is she gonna finish? Okay, well, I don't think I'm watching something else, because I don't want. I'm not. But no, it's engaging, and it could be because this right here, like I said before, I'm learning as I teach. I'm learning as I share. Things come to me that I don't even know, so that's how I know it is from up above. It is from um, the all-pervading one that lives within all of us. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the humbleness of it, and know that it is working through me, and I accept being the vessel to bring forth the message to help the ones that want to be helped and that are trying to grow. Like I said, it's basically, it boils down to just, it's a spiritual journey. we're releasing what no longer is working for us, what is, that may have helped us before to cope, but now we're moving on and it's no more of this. I'm tired of this and I want more for myself, which is a healthy temple, a healthy place, a healthy avatar for my spirit to dwell in so that I may have a close relationship with God. So, fruits take 3 hours to digest, and 3 hours in total to digest. 1 hour in the stomach, 1 hour in the small intestine, and 1 hour in the large intestine. Vegetables, it takes 6 hours in total. So basically 2 hours in the stomach, 2 hours in the small intestines, and 2 hours in the large intestines. Grains such as, like legumes, lentils, rice. I guess you consider like oatmeal, yeah, because that's dry. Yeah, these are drier. There's not really any water. Yeah, it's really less water in these. There's not really water. So it takes like 18 hours to digest because there's no water. 18 hours. So that's 6 hours in the stomach, 6 hours in the small intestine, and 6 hours in the large intestine. These are like close estimates to give you because everybody's body is different. But we're kind of giving you a roundabout time of how long it takes for excuse me, y'all. I just see that straight hair, that straight piece of hair. But that's just giving you quite a close estimate of what to expect of how the body is digesting the food that we ingest. And as I tell it, the less water the food has, as you can see, the longer it takes to digest. So, I'm gonna go back to all saying about the meat. Think about that. It takes 18 hours to digest grains, bread, legumes, lentils, rice, things like that. Think how long it takes to digest meat. Sometimes it doesn't get digested at all. It's just sitting there rotting and decaying in the body. That's going to cause some ruckus in your intestines. It's going to cause some parasites to form. And that's another thing too that, well, I thought about this before, but I've never said it on video. And as I was thinking about this, it came to me, and now it's coming to me again. For instance, bed bugs. Bed bugs come from, because people are wondering where they're coming from. And nobody don't want to think that I produce them, but that's exactly what has happened. Our bodies produce the bed bugs because it comes from our sweat. Because think about it for just go with me and think about it. Yeah, I know it's kind of, it make you scratch your head and make your skin, kind of crawl. That's the truth of the matter. Dead skin cells, sweat. So you might get in the bed, they may not, take a bath and they kind of sweaty and dirty, but it's mostly coming from dead skin cells that's falling off of us at nighttime and sweat. So if you're sweating, once again, you're sweating out organisms in the body, because in the sweat is still some type of living organism that's coming out. And if it sits there, that's where the bed bugs come from. Because now, from what's come out of your body, now it's forming into something else. And that's where the bed bugs come from. The same way how we can get tapeworms, fluke worms, all that in our body. It's coming from the environment that created it. So your body is releasing waste, because that's another thing too. That's the thing. Dead skin cells, that's waste. Whatever coming out of your pores at nighttime, fatty cells, it's still your body's defecating, and it's on the sheets. And if you're not cleaning your sheets and wearing the same sheets, and as you can tell, it gets up in the mattresses. But especially when what made me think about that is when we had an instance of when an older lady in one of our that stayed in one of our here where I'm at. It was in the news, on the paper, whatever, and she had an infestation of bed bugs. I mean, no, some elderly people may not be able to wash themselves as they should, and especially if you have bed rest. That's another thing talking about it for a second. People have bed rest, then they have, they start getting what they want to call bed sores. That still comes from some type of parasite. It's just something to think about. You know, just want to put it out there. Um, um, I want to tack on to this ease. This ease is when our body organs are not functioning properly. Yeah. Um, that's what, right. Our organs are not at ease. They're in distress now because there are things that our body has done deposited in there because they're trying to get out of the bloodstream or wherever, and they're just depositing it here. And so that causes the organ now to start operating or functioning in an improper way, because now it's like, what is this foreign object here? So now it's working harder to try and get rid of that or protect itself from whatever has been deposited there. So when it sticks to the underside of our skin, we call it acne, rash, eczema, or psoriasis. So which especially anything that itches, anything that makes you, it's a parasite. It's mites. We have dust mites. Anytime you have feel like something biting you and you scratch your eye, that's a dust mite more than likely, or it could be something living in your hair follicle. Because I've learned that we have organisms that come out on our face at nighttime and procreate, and then go back into our pores. So we have bacteria. Is it called bacteria? Yeah. And especially you can feel sometimes something on your face at nighttime when your face feels kind of itchy, or yeah, that's anytime you feel like, oh, something. Yeah, that was some type of mite or parasite that just bit you. We're gonna have those things crawling all over us because we're an organism, so that's just part of life. But I just want to let you know, anytime you have, especially when they itch, that lets you know right there. That also is well, it's another thing too. It's side note. Inflammation. Anytime, I just want to give you a quick note with that. Like I was saying, anything that itches, get you, it's flame. That means it's hot. It's inflamed. Get you an ice pack or ice cube, whatever, and put it there. And as soon as you get bit by a mosquito or anything, instead of scratching it, get a ice and put it there until it feels so hot. Because you know how snow is, or in wintertime when you get so cold that it feels hot. So to that point where it's just you can't take it no more. You can feel the coldness like it's sinking into your bones, and you'll see how it will help cool it off, and the itching sensation will go away. You can also put alcohol there first as well, and then put the cold pack up there or a piece of ice, and you will see a difference, and you will see the swelling go down as well. Just something, a little bit of help, also for children, stuff like that, you know. In the summertime, that little that little piece of coldness probably feel good on their face or on their leg, whatever, because it's hot outside. But yes, that will help as well. With that, or any inflammation for that matter. Doesn't even have to be a mosquito bite. Wherever anything that has been inflamed, put some ice there. Well, we already know about that if you do sports. It just kind of mean people that do sports, you understand what I'm talking about. So also you also understand, right? Because when they have that cold pack, especially people that do baseball, we see them sitting in there. That's to cool their body off, because that means their whole body has been inflamed. It's hot, needs to cool off. So and then we have some, where it's stiff. That means a lot of coldness in there. So we need to put something warm in there to kind of loosen them up to get those joints going. So there you go. So that's the difference. That's the reason why of the hot and cold, because either we're stiff and it's a lot of coldness, cold in that spot, and we need to put some warmth there to kind of loosen, to get those joints going and all that. And if it's hot, fever. We know that when we have a fever, our body is burning up, it's hot. When we're putting that cold pack or cold cloth on our forehead, on our face, or wherever we want to put it at, where the fever is, it's pulling out the heat. Because you feel it. And sometimes it happens really fast, where the cloth has gotten hot already because it's pulling out the heat, and then you can see where the fever has gone down because we have actually pulled out that heat from out of the body. So yeah. It may form in the kidneys or the gallbladder, and we call it gallstones or kidney stones. So that's, once again, toxins, or what you want to call waste, that the body has moved and put into our kidneys or our gallbladder, and it's collected there and hardened, and now it's a stone. But with this right here, if you do have that, they will be passed as well. So that's the thing too. The more fluids you eat, because it's softening it up. Just like people that go get a colon cleanse, that's the purpose. You see the water running through, it's softening what's collected on the colon so it can come out. So it's no different with what we're doing and how we're eating, and the exercising. Like I said, yoga is really looking to doing yoga, because it's, once again, it's a weight loss and spiritual journey all in one. And pranayama. Yes, those two things together are medicine to the body. I'm serious. And to the spirit as well. So that's why I say it's a physical and spiritual thing. It's medicine for the soul and for the body. Real talk. And like I said in one of my earlier videos, that fat is actually, yes, fat is actually a toxin, because that's basically toxic, once again, like I said, toxic waste that has been put into that cell because it's being stored there, and because of that, it's made the cell, blowed up. It's distorted the cell now. So it's basically storage for food, because when you're storing food that's good for you, you don't get fat. It's stored in the cell, and the cell is storing it because it's energy. But when it's a malefic energy, it distorts the cell and makes it get all out of shape, because it shouldn't be there, because it's toxic, because it's unnatural, because it's some type of chemical, basically. that's in there that shouldn't be in there. So yeah. Cysts are accumulation of toxins, that can be in the ovaries, ovarian cysts. Those basically, that's another thing too. The body has deposited there, and then it makes a covering over it, and that what can cause PCOD, and I feel that's what can cause menopause as well. Um, and it also can cause us with how we have our menstrual issues, and fibroids as well. That's nothing but a wrapping. Basically, all boils down to is mucus buildup as well, because those things turn into mucus. It's toxic, because when we're um I'm just gonna say, in our eyes we're draining, and sometimes you can feel in our eyes and itches. It's parasites in there. Anytime you have mucus coming out and itching, parasites. If you have earwax, it's have built up in your ears and it's itchy, parasites. And another thing too, you have to understand, our nose is connected to our brain, our eyes connect to our brain, our ears are connected to our brain. Our brain is draining out toxins. Has to have some way to release toxins, and that's how we have tumors in our brain. Because once again, the blood goes to our brain. So once again, that's in there. So now it has settled up here, and that's what causes us to have these disorders of dementia and Alzheimer's disease and things of that nature, and these tumors, and it's because of the buildup, and it's a lot of sugar. Anything that can turn into mucus, with sugar will do that, and sugar in a lot of our foods. And what we mean by sugar, it's good sugar and bad sugar. Sugar that's added to our foods is not good sugar, because for one thing, it's already been bleached. So natural sugar is brown. So we're eating that bleached sugar, so it's not good. So I got a chemical in it anyway to bleach it. So and then we're eating, once again, food that's dead, that has no life in it. These cereal and chips, anything that has no water in it, it does not have any life in it. If a plant doesn't have water, is it going to keep on living? So, things to think about. And I'm saying it because I've thought about it, family. I love all of y'all, and I want y'all to really, really think about it, on this journey that we're on. So we can, be prepared for what's to come. Because being able to control ourselves and be disciplined in our eating will help us in the long run. See, it really will cleanse us of ourselves, where we have to have meat and really don't. So it's more so that if I want to eat meat, I'll do. If I don't, I don't. And it's not like I got to have meat and everything. That every time I have a meal, I got to have some meat. No. I got to have my, you don't. The parasites was telling you got to have your snacks. I'm just understanding, a lot of my cravings are dying out because the parasites that are in my body are dying out. So that's what I'm saying. It's a spiritual thing, because you start recognizing things, take note, journal, of what's going on with yourself. And you're able to look back and see, oh yeah, and then you can see your progress. You can see, your growth in this, because it's also your spiritual growth as well. Yeah, like I was saying, mucus equals sugar, they're one and the same. Of course, constipation is caused by food not being digested properly, and that also goes with, because it's basically food, because we know fruits and vegetables are not going to constipate you. It's foods that don't really have that much water in what constipates you, because like I said, it's drawing the juices out of your system anyway. So it's trying to, get it moist so that it can push through. And no, and I don't know if I said it, but if I haven't, I'm gonna repeat it again because I don't remember saying it. But when you have a bowel movement, your bowel movement should not be big as boulders, and it should not. Well, you know how boulders look when they come out. It looks, with the cracks and all. It shouldn't be coming out looking like no bowling ball, golf ball, no kind of ball. It should come looking like a tube. It should be cylinder. It should come looking like your intestine. And it should come out just like that, like a hose, just like that. It shouldn't be coming out in plops. No, it should, when you push out, it should be coming out just like a tube. And I'm just saying because I'm speaking from experience. Um, that's how it should be. And fruits, and eating more fruits and vegetables will help that. And let you also know that your body is healing and your body is doing as it should be. But think about it for a second. Think about when dogs poop. That's how theirs come out. Theirs ain't, well, that goes again to dogs that are not eating healthy, because you'll see them poop, 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 because they're eating, once again, human food, which they should not be eating. And they're eating their dog food like they should be. They're eating, the fruits or however it should be. But I've seen, let's go back to cows and stuff like that. That's a better example. You see how theirs come out. It ain't coming out in plops. It's coming out in a nice, like an ice. I'm not trying to make anybody be disgusted. Don't eat ice cream anymore, but we use ice cream, but I mean like an ice cream machine. When you see it coming out, that's exactly how it should come out in our body. Just like it just like that. Continuation, and then sometimes you can just sit there and you can once you can feel in your body if you're finished or not. You're like, oh, I still feel I'm not finished. I'm still, and you'll sit there for a minute and then you'll feel some more come out. I mean, it lets you know it's going all the way up in there, and that lets you know that it's also getting out old stuff too. Like I said, if you're on this weight loss journey, it's gonna happen like that. But because so some people can be using the bathroom ain't even finished, so went and you think you're finished and you get up and you're not. So that means you haven't even passed everything that needs to be passed from out of your intestines. So that's another way for constipation to happen too, because people aren't even using the bathroom properly. So that's another thing to think about as well. Our stool bowel should come out looking like, okay, I've said that. I'm jumping ahead of myself, and that's good. Okay, and also toxins can cause asthma, and the reason for that, and people that may be born with it, that could be something that can be passed down from the mom because of what she was eating that caused your body to develop the way it developed, and so it has clogged airways. But once again, that can be taken care of, by getting or taking or drinking tea that's needed. And I really feel like if the baby's eating like it should, that will clear up. But also at the same token, I believe that if it is there when the baby is born, it doesn't show up until later, and that's because of the food that it's digesting. Because nowadays people are feeding their babies table food before they even have teeth. And when I mean by that, I mean junk food, and that's. I mean, I was there. I'm not gonna say where I fed my son, table food before he got teeth, but I was one of the ones that used to, because I wasn't always eating like I am now. I've learned from the McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy days. So Hardee's, yes, because when I was with my son, that was when the $6 burger came out. Yeah, I did, and wanted large. So I wanted the large. I got the large fries. So Yeah, but but one thing I did never do, I never got my son on cow milk. He did go, I had put him on almond milk because I was on that journey. I may not have been all the way conscious, aware of the foods, but I was starting to come into knowing, of what to eat and not eat and stuff like that. So I've come a long way from where I was, so I'm grateful for that as well. Everybody has their slip ups, what you want to call renege, and go back. And because it's better, it's easier to eat that way than it is the especially when you start seeing the prices, and like it's not cheap to eat healthy, but sometimes it's set up that way. Especially for the ones that's trying to come up that may not have the money. But the same token, it's set up for the ones that can afford it and can't get that way because it's for them. So it's really sad. It says, well, we don't really want you to. Anyway, it's really um, upsetting when you see how things are laid out. Plaque on the artery walls is called cholesterol. Same thing. It's still toxins. It's still mucus. It's something that was stored there because it had to go somewhere. And the longer it is in our system, the more toxic the waste in our bloodstream becomes, and that's what causes the cancer, and that's what starts to cause when you can start feeling it, because it has to be over the years process for tumors to become aware, because it means it's been packing in, packing in, packing in. If they're small, no, it's not going to do anything. Because especially if you're doing something about it, but when it starts accumulating and getting bigger, and for instance, like someone that's pregnant, something's gonna get bigger and bigger over time. Well, same thing with tumors, cysts, cancer, over time, and that's another thing too. Tumors can turn into cancer because cysts can turn into cancer, and that's what causes ovarian cancer because if it bursts, okay, now it's done come out, and now it's spreading. But if you can get something that can mop it up or clean it up, okay, it's no longer we can get that right then and right there. Um, and same thing with fibroids. They call they're benign, where they're not a problem at the time, but if they start leaking, just like people that have implants that can start leaking, that's it. That's what causes, because it's too full now. We can only do so much, and it can leak, and then the body can clean it up and put it in another. Then you have another fibroid. So that's how that is. I am not a medical doctor, but I'm just saying what the unknown. I don't. I know nothing. So that's why I'm grateful and gracious that when I speak, I know that it's coming from the Almighty, because I don't know this stuff, but because of my logic and my observation, and by what I see and what I read, because I do have a collection of books, and so I've been blessed that my mom at an early age with me got me to start reading. So when I was in kindergarten, I was able to read a teacher's manual front to back. But the thing about it, I didn't understand what I was reading. I couldn't tell them exactly, okay, I can read it word for word, big words and all, pronounce them. Then they asked me, what did I just read, or break it down, let me know. That part I couldn't do. But, yeah, so I've always been a loyal to book reading. And I'm grateful for that because it's really helped me in this time that I was born in, to be able to help others and usher ourselves in the way that we need to go. So there is a way for us to keep our temple, body, avatar clear clean for our spirit to dwell in, and that is detoxification. Um, like I was saying earlier, the heaviest meals should be eaten between 10 and 12. And intermittent fasting. You can do the 16, off 16, and you have an 8-hour window, which basically, is 12 to 8. But I do 12 to 6 because I want to, like I said, if they have with the window of 18 hours, give or take, for the grains or whatever to digest, well then, like they said, if you're eating again for that even digest properly, so, which I was in 18 hours anyway, but when I heard that, I was like, well, I'm doing right by 18 hours. So yeah, I do 12 to 6. And it all depends, because I also think about what did I eat. If I didn't eat any bread, sometimes, if I feel like, it depends on my day and where I'm going, what I'm doing, I feel like I might need to eat before I leave, and I'm leaving before 12 o'clock, I may eat something at 10 or 11. And yeah, it depends on what I ate before. Yeah, but like I said, that window is between 10 and 12, when you can start eating for the next day, because you want to give your body time to heal and digest as well. So it's giving your body a break. And also, I don't really know much about it, but I know I was hearing something about the cortisol. It helps with, let the cortisol do what it do. So, yeah. Get your light snacks closer to 6 p.m. Want some grapes. You might want some, something that's more water based. Popcorn has no water in it. So, just be. Now, for instance, if you want some popcorn, okay, well, drink some juice with it, kind of, to kind of balance it out, like that. So, just be mindful, of how you eat later on throughout the day when, it's close to you where you're starting to do your fasting. And think about it for a second. Breakfast. Okay, we're going to break those two words down. Break, fast. That's all I'm going to say about that. And also, I've said it before, but I'll say it again to just reiterate that our healing is also done at nighttime. Our body, as well as detoxifying, is healing as well. So, especially if you eating early in the day and you're just eating, water-based things in the evening, your body has a lot of time to heal and regenerate. So, especially when you're sleeping, because this is all from experience of what I have learned for myself. I can be feeling a certain way at nighttime. I could, kind of have I can feel congestion in my nose, whatever the case may be. Or I might have felt, kind of blah. I wake up the next day, that congestion is gone. That kind of blood, you can say, people can say, well, it could have been because you was tired, but I mean, I can't explain it. It's that kind of feeling that you have. You're just or it could be a little pain or something that you have. I could say that, a little pain anywhere, or, something that's kind of agitating, by you sleeping at nighttime, stuff like that, wake up the next day, it feels better. So, and I also know that anytime that you feel like want to lay down, your body is like, I need to rest a little bit. I need to regenerate myself, because when you take a little cat nap, it does the body wonders. And then if you have to, this is a journey for us to rest and heal and take care of ourselves anyway. So if we're on this weight loss journey, our body is going through something different. We're not eating much we used to. We're not taking in the stuff that we used to take in. So our body is trying to adjust to that, and same token is healing from that. So it may need more rest. So just be, mindful and do what the body asks. Because it's also us having a relationship with ourselves, getting to know ourselves better, and taking better care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves, loving ourselves. And because who else, if we're not going to do, who else going to love us the best way that we know how? The only one that can love us the way that we should really be loved is ourselves. So, it regenerates our cells, releases cysts, tumors, stones, fibroids, diabetes, cholesterol, asthma. Um, it goes away. It removes toxins. Fat from our cells. That comes with the breathing part. The breathing, like I said, pranayama. If you look it up on yoga, I show yoga on YouTube. Like I said, I also on my channel. If you look on my channel, you'll see I have playlists for yoga, different types of yoga and pranayama. If you look up there, you'll see it says breathwork pranayama. Then I have 15 and below yoga, 15 and up yoga, 13 and up. I said 13, 30 minutes and up yoga, 40 minutes, 45 minutes and up, and then 60 minutes and up yoga. And all of those are for our bodies. Basically, it's like somatic yin yoga, for the nervous system, for our adrenals, and then even it says for our chakras, which is deal with different parts of our body, because the root is that's basically dealing with our our structure. The sacral chakra, that's dealing with our basically our reproductive system. The solar, which is basically here where our spleen and liver and intestines are. Then our heart, I have our heart and shoulders, and I have that's what somatic come in, is talking about the fascia, basically the whole sheath that covers all our whole body. And then the throat chakra, which is dealing with our neck and stuff, and thyroid, and our thymus is here also, the heart chakra. Then our thyroids and lymph nodes, all of that lymphatic stuff, the lymphatic for our lymphatic system. That's a lot of lymphatic yoga. Then our third eye, which is we have that too. That's basically talking about our brain. The pineal and pituitary gland. Then the crown chakra. And so it's still basically for the whole body. I also have Reiki. People are familiar with Reiki. I also have playlist up there for Reiki healing as well. So yes, because that's also very good for the body, because that's also healing as well. And if you think about it, that's what Jesus was using. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And let you see it for yourself, because think about when the soldier said, if people that are, familiar with the Bible, maybe Christian, in the Christian religion, because I was there once upon a time. The soldier that was, I believe that, which you speak it, that it should happen, and that his servant, / would be healed. And if you're doing Reiki through the TV, that's from a distance, and you're believing that it's person what they're doing, and that you will be healed, and there you go. So, I do believe that, in those missing years of what in the Bible that wasn't told about Yeshua, that he did, go and travel, and he was initiated, and he learned things from the wise men that came to see him, and went to school, and also he was already, of course, already anointed. He was here for a reason. So of course at St. Thomas, while he's going to learn, he was also teaching as well. Priests and that were there before him were all with this person that was younger than them and was so wise. So even the wise are always, that's why they're wise, because they're always learning. They're not saying, well, I've learned enough, and I know enough, and whoever come and tell yourself, I don't need nothing, because who are you beneath me? No, that's how because once you do, that's when you become ignorant and stagnant, because now you're no longer growing. So yeah, if we are fasting, for 18 hours out of a 24-hour day, it has been, our body has been given 126 healing hours. If we're doing it for just a week, in 4 weeks we've done 504 healing hours. In 12 weeks we've done 1,512 healing hours that our body, has done to help fight disease in our body, help our body. And you can feel it because you're starting to feel more alive. You're starting to feel more energetic. You're not feeling as lethargic as you used to be. You're not wanting the food that you want to eat anymore. You're overcoming those addictions of, one eat snacks and one eat sweets and one, these, bakery foods that's got sweet in it. You're not addicted to wanting all this bread. You gotta have your bread. You gotta have your, anything that's bread. Your muffins, anything like that, cornbread, whatever. um, and it's going to the root of the problem. That's another thing too. When you're eating healthy, eating natural, it's going to the root, and so it's going to take longer because it's going to the root. But when you're using medicine that doctor gives you, all it's doing is masking, is curing the symptom, but the problem is still there. So you think you're well because the symptoms are gone. That doesn't mean you're healed, because doesn't it come back? Anytime something that comes back, that means that it's not full. It ain't gone. If it comes back, it ain't gone. But this right here, it heals it. The cancer won't come back because you're eating healthy, so it's not gonna come back. But we're not masking it. It's not gonna leave a little bit in there to see if it can fester and come back. No, it's gonna get all of it. It's not gonna leave a little bit. 18% of it is still there, so you may be good. No, no, and I never got that. Why would you leave some of it in there? Why not get all of it? But anyway, I digress. I'm not gonna worry about what they're doing. What all I can do is say what's in over here on like I said, it's either that side or other side of God's side. I'm on God's side. I just gonna worry about what's on God's side. Focus on what's on. I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm gonna focus on what's on God's side. That's what I'm gonna do. So the principle is the same for everyone. It may vary for each person, body makeup, and their age as far as the regeneration process. So of course, if you're older, it's going to take a little bit longer, and if you're bigger as well, it's going to take a little bit longer than somebody that's smaller than you. I've come to learn that too, because we got a lot more sticking on our cells, and over the years, and so we may be a little bit bigger. It's going to take a little bit longer. And I also have kind of realized too that it's not just the food we eat, it's also we're carrying on. People may have been in more trauma than others as well, so it's going to take a little bit longer to release because of the trauma that's stuck on us. We also have to release that and forgive ourselves. Forgive ourselves and forgive others, because when we don't, that's something that sticks with us too, that would make us become heavy if we do not fully forgive. It's not about forgetting. No, we're not talking about forget. We're talking about forgive. And also, forgiveness means you go back to that person. Forgiveness means you don't understand it. I understand why you did it. It doesn't make it right, but I understand. You have to understand they're going through stuff themselves, and that's why they did it, because they weren't. If they would understood what they have done, wouldn't done it from the beginning. So so you just have to forgive ourselves for punishing ourselves, and it wasn't our fault, and and that we have learned from it, and we move on. And that's how, and then that's release any, anxiety, stress, post-traumatic, even, can have OCD or bipolar. And in a way, bipolar can be good, because if there's a balance with that, because, that means you're extreme on both ends, or you could either, depression, or even once you get out of depression, because, I'm considered to have, was diagnosed with that I was diagnosed with bipolar, manic depressive. So, so I understand that. So, but that goes back with what Kendrick was saying, he's bipolar, but, so he's understanding both his sides, and, that's coming to accept it instead of, not, disliking ourselves because of who and what we are. We have to, take what we have and go with it. But yes, if you have enjoyed this video, and if you're repeats and are coming back, I appreciate you. Glad that you are here with me, and I'm here with you. And for all the new ones, hopefully, this information here is something that you will be able to take with you, and it'll help you to grow. And you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also, share it with other ones that may be in need of this, or that you may think that, it would, help them in some way, form, or fashion. And I really appreciate it. And I love everyone. And like I said, yeah, this one was a little bit long. This is an hour and 5 minutes. So this is not for the short-minded. This is not for the short attention. This is for the ones that the attention span is longer than 10 minutes. So and even if that is the case, just watch 15 minutes of it, come back and watch some more, and try and exercise your attention span to where it goes. You start seeing yourself drift off, okay, but that's, I have to work on it. It's like people have to work on, their muscles, or work on anything, that it has to be exercised. That's it. So, I love you, family. And like I said, I will put the link in the bio for the video that encouraged me, to kind of share my 2 cents on what they were saying. And also, I'll also put a link in the bio, link in the bottom. It's in my bio. I'll also put a link in the description box for the video that inspired me to do my own video. And I also put the video in the description box of the other video that I did, which is called Self-Touch. That I think will also, if you haven't watched it, I believe that will also be another good one. It's not as long as this one. I think it's about 20 minutes or so it's not as long as this one. So again, I appreciate every one of you, and I love y'all, and I want y'all to have a very wonderful noon, day, or evening. Peace, family.